morning, good morning. I'm glad that you can make it with us this morning. Sir, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Get your coffee ready. You know, it may be evening your time, so you may be doing tea. Whatever you're drinking. Thank you for joining us this morning here in the U.S. 8:55 a.m. Central Time. We got Brother Anders in the house. Good morning to you. I love the picture that you have up here. Got all those computing machines getting it done. We got Blockabelli in the house. Good morning, good evening. That is the appropriate way to address people from all over the world. He's a professional coming to us from Qatar. Blockabelli. Patreon. Member who's getting it done. I appreciate you, brother. And I love the threads you got on, man. Come on in, guys. Come on in. We got a good show for you all today. I'm still getting set up, but we'll be ready to cook in a second. Do a little bit of adjustment here. Miss Wade is in the house. Miss Wade is in the house. Miss Wade said, you know what, baby, I'm going to get up this morning and I'm going to be the one that goes get you coffee. How about that? She went and got me a nice little, some voodoo coffee. She went and got me some voodoo coffee. Need that voodoo in the morning to get the brain waking up. I didn't wake up early to get a workout in this morning. I'm gonna do that a little bit later. Get my workout in. But I need some of this voodoo. The UK investor say he is headed to the airport soon. Where you going, brother? Where you going? You going on a business trip or you going on vacay? Got some PTO? Casual Economist is in the house. Thank you for joining us this morning, Casual Economist. Safe travels wherever you're going, the UK investor. Safe travels. Absolutely, UK investor. Looking forward to it as well. Guys, welcome back to another Black Heights Saturday morning coffee talk this morning, guys. Saturday morning coffee talk this morning. I hope you guys have had a fantastic week. Guys, again, Saturdays are a day to think about what you did last week and to put plans in place to look at your next week and how you can get better. At the end of the day is how can you improve? How can you take one more step forward in the direction that you are going? That's why I love weekends. That's why I love getting up on Saturday mornings, because I know that I'm going to be doing something that's going to be productive for the rest of the weekend, but also it really energizes me to get on this platform on a Saturday morning and talk about what I've learned from the previous week, give some insights, and also to put plans in place for myself that will help me going into next week. So, guys, the weekends are a fantastic time to just reflect and to think about what's next. Reflect and think about what's next and then execute. So I've had a fantastic week. It was a busy week. Lots of coaching calls, even trips to the office. A lot of time spent with family. a lot of times working late, a lot of times going to bed early, waking up early and so forth, but it was a very productive week overall. And I thought about this session last night and was coming across articles that I wanted to share with you and careers that I wanted to share with you that will have you, if you are in a place where you haven't been able to decide and commit on a career, I'm going to introduce you to 2 careers that are hot that you should think about. If you are thinking about getting into tech, you should think about these 2 careers. The show is going to be first, we're going to, of course, give our shout outs because we've had a lot of people have a lot of success this week. And then we're going to briefly talk about the commitment that you need in order for you to have success in your career and life in general. Commitment is a huge key, guys. And then we're going to be talking about, guys, 2 careers. One of a data analyst, which is really hot, and that of a cloud engineer, which is super, 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 super hot at this point in time. We're also going to be talking about the most recent round of layoffs that just happened in the tech space over the last week. I want to keep you guys up to date just in case you're applying to these companies, friends and so forth. You may be able to help them out. And just to see where these layoffs are happening at, what departments is happening at and so forth, so that you have the most up-to-date information and you have things to look at just in case you find yourself into that position in the upcoming weeks or upcoming months. We're going to hit on PayPal and the most recent or frequent asked interview questions, because many of you guys are going through the interview process right now. I know many people who are going through the interview process right now, and I'm going to shout these guys out. But for a company like PayPal, who does a lot of hiring and so forth, they are hiring now. I want to give you guys some insights into some of the most frequent asked interview questions and how you should prepare for them and how you should tell your story. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, in order for you to get a job, get a career, bring people onto your company, you have to sell yourself. You have to sell yourself, sell your vision and so forth. And that's what allows for you to gain employment, gain people to come on board to your company and so forth. And I just want to give you guys some insights into what companies are asking so that if you are asked these questions, you will have a little bit more information on how to answer those questions. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about Serena Williams. Serena Williams, the best female tennis player, in my opinion, of all time, is making a career transition herself. She's making a career transition herself to that of venture capitalists. And we're going to talk about that as well, too, because she's doing some wonderful things. And I just want to share that story with you guys as well. Let's start off with the shout outs, because we've had some success this week. We're going to start off with Brother Carlos. Brother Carlos just made a move within Amazon. It's a lateral move, but it's a lateral move that allowed for him to have more of an upward mobility trajectory. He's getting paid more. He has more time with his family. He has more time working remote and so forth. And this is a good move for where he is in his career with everything that he has going on. That's going to set him up to launch even further up the ladder. So shout out to Brother Carlos for gaining that lateral promotion. And guys, when you think about promotions sometimes, you got to remember, all promotions aren't vertical. We want them to be vertical, but sometimes you have to take a step sideways. You have to extend that step. You know how there's a ladder and you go up and you go over, up, over for each one of the steps. Well, sometimes if you go up and you can't continue to go up, you have to go over. And sometimes you may have to take another step over in order for you to go up again. And that's what Carlos is doing at this point in time. It's a lateral promotion, more pay in his pocket, more people to manage, a better team, and in a organization that is going to stay clear of what's going on in the markets today when it comes down to hiring freezes and so forth. So shout out to brother Carlos on his lateral promotion. Shout out to brother Malik for passing his blue team certification and getting 3 offers, not 1, 3 offers that paid 3 times more than what he was making as a security operations center analyst. Brother Malik is a Patreon member, young guy. Malik must be 23 years old, but I'm gonna tell you like this, he is very mature. He's very wise beyond his age. He puts himself in room with other individuals who are older than him and are more accomplished at this point in time because they are older. And he sits and he listens and he gains insights and he studies and he puts in the work and he has committed to a career in cybersecurity. He has committed to it. And brother Malik just got his blue team certification, so he's on professional black ops team, blue team, and he's got 3 offers that paid 3 times more than what he was being paid as a security operations center analyst. And he just got the role as a security operations center analyst a couple months ago, making over $90,000 a year. So if you guys put in the work, you will commit yourself to learning, to being around people who's done it, to getting that information, you're going to have success. Shout out to brother Malik. Shout out to brother Sidney, who's continued to focus on building his network, also building management skills, so that when he finishes his management information systems degree, he has a good understanding of what it's like to manage in the civilian space. Brother Sidney spent quite a bit of time in our armed forces, and he's made the transition out. So he's in school right now, focusing on his career and his next steps. And a lot of it's around the information security or the information system space. And one of the most recent things he did is work with his professor to become a teacher. And it's in a space that he wasn't very comfortable with, programming, Java programming at that. He's put himself in a position to learn Java programming by helping his professor teach the course. That's committing yourself to learning something. Many times people, they program and they say, okay, I've done it, Antoine, but I don't like it, or I haven't had success in, or I'm just not good, I don't know how to learn. Well, one way that you can become so much better at something is by putting yourself in a position where you have to teach others. Then you're forced to learn it. Then you're forced to do the things that you have to do in order for you to be able to explain it to others. And it helps to reinforce your learning of it as well. So shout out to brother Sidney, who's out there crushing it in school as a professor as well, building his networking skills, building his management skills, building his leadership skills, building his programming skills. So shout out to brother Sidney. Shout out to brother Brian, who is a contract specialist, a good Patreon brother of ours, and he's making a career transition into tech as well. And he's taking a course, careers sales course, and he's looking to get into the sales world. He's already had 1 interview. After that interview, they told him that he needed to make a video to sell one of their products and services. He made the video. He got invited to the 2nd interview. So shout out to brother Brian, who's making that career transition into tech sales. And he's already got his 2nd interview. Shout out to brother Brian. Shout out our big brother, Darcellus Reed, one of my good buddies, good friends, a brother of mine who I went to school with quite some time. And brother Darcellus, back in November last year, he was on his entrepreneurship journey, but he said, Antoine, you know what? I need to get some of this tech money. I need to get some of this tech money. I've been in this financial and banking space for a very long time. but I really need to get some of this tech money to help me build my business out as well and to be able to invest. So Brother Darcella said, you know what, I'm going to commit to the world of becoming a business analyst. He's learned the SQL. He's learned the Tableau. He's learned some of the processes to become a business analyst. And he's on his third and fourth interview at a big time bank. And hopefully after the fourth interview next week, he will get extended an offer. So shout out to Brother Darcellus Reed. And last but not least, shout out to Brother Mr. Nix. I had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Nix last Sunday. We had a chance to catch up on life, on what he has going on with the beautiful ladies dating and so forth, and what he has going on in his professional career. And Mr. Nix has all of his 41 certifications active. And we had a chance to speak quite a bit about the job market and where things are going and where he's thinking about his next move within his career. And during the entire conversation, Mr. Nix was laughing. He was like, Antoine, this is what I need to focus on right now because next week I'm going to be doing something else. So while we were talking, he was laughing the entire time, showing me things about VMware and virtual systems and all this other stuff. You know me, I'm a non-technical guy at this point in time, but it was really cool to see how he was being able to set up routers and so forth in the virtual world and being able to accomplish the task that he needed to accomplish. So shout out to Mr. Nix for continuously learning, committed to continuously learning and continuously developing in his career, even though he has 41 certifications and he's a master in a lot of this space in IT. You can never, ever know it all. So shout out to Brother Mr. Nix. All right, guys, let's talk about commitment because I said a couple things about the individuals who are crushing it. I mean, I said it's a number of things about the people who are crushing it, and the one word that continues to come up is their commitment. Their commitment to knowing their end goal. Guys, I'm in so many coaching calls with individuals who are looking to break into tech or looking to get promoted and so forth. And for the people who are looking to break into tech, many times you ask some of the younger ones, what have they done in their career? And, you know, they have, you know, multiple things that they've done, but they're not an expert at any of them, or they're not even mediocre at any of them. They tried it, they didn't like it. They tried it, they didn't like it. They tried it, didn't like it. And granted, that's fantastic early in your career. Try something until you like it, but ultimately you're going to have to commit. And what I want for you all to think about is committing to an end goal, right? Don't think about the short term right away. Commit to what it is that you see yourself far out there, 60, 70 years, right? When you're 60, 70 years old, what is it that you want the story to be? What is it that you want your career to look like? Right? I tell myself all the time that I always wanted to be a CEO of a big time company, you know, medium, large, whatever you want to call it, but a good sized company. It could be 20 million, it could be 1 million, but that's my goal, right? That's my goal. That's what I've always wanted to be. So I've taken the steps along my career to navigate to that ultimate goal. So commit to an end goal, whatever that is for yourself. It could be the fact that you want to be an entrepreneur. You have to commit to it, but then you have to say to yourself, okay, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to own my own company. What sizes of that company do I want it to be? And then think about in your career, while you're navigating your career, what skills is it that you need to learn in order for you to be the best entrepreneur? You need to learn management skills, leadership skills, maybe some technical skills, sales, most importantly, marketing. So think about committing to the end goal first, but you have to commit. What is it that your career looks like? What is it that your life looks like? 60, 70 years old. What is it that it looks like? And of course, a lot of times we don't know. We don't know, but you have to have a vision of what that looks like in order for you to take the steps that you need to ultimately try to get there. Okay, so number one is commit to an end goal. Number two, guys, I think it is to commit to making the most out of your strengths. We all are born with strengths that makes us different and unique than other people. I'm in sales right now. I was in a sales meeting the other day, and we're talking to a CEO, a CFO, and my COO was on the call, and my GM was on the call, and a couple of the folks that I'm working with, their principals and so forth on the other company's side. And of course, we didn't meet the CEO of the other company before, or the CFO. Matter of fact, I had to work with two principals just to line a call. And we went around to do some introductions and so forth, all visual, all virtual, I meant. We were going to fly in Chicago, but we got the late notice that they approved it and so forth. So we said, okay, well, let's do a virtual meeting first. And when we sign the contract next week, we would be on site to do so. Break bread with each other and drink some wine and whiskey, whatever it is. But anyway, we went around the table to do introductions on Microsoft Teams. Of course, it got to me, introduced myself, and the CFO and other companies like, man, Antoine, you have a fantastic voice, right? And I just raised up my little microphone and said, it's because of the mic, right? And they were just joking around. It was all a bunch of laughter, right? But think about, what are your strengths? A strength of mine is my voice, my ability to capture people's attention. Commit to making the most of your strengths. My strengths are building communities and relationships and making people feel inclusive and so forth. Commit to making the most out of your strengths. Whatever the strengths are that you have, commit to making the most out of it. Commit to making the most out of it. That's how you're going to get the fulfillment you want out of your career and your life. If your strengths are helping people, commit to making the most of your strengths. That's number 2. Okay? And the last but not least, just like I brought up on Mr. Nix and our brother Malik and all the other people, Carlos and so forth, that are going through this journey and this transition, commit to continuously learning, guys. I mean, like, there's so much information that's out there. You have to just learn. You have to learn every single day. There has to be something that you're committed to, and you have to commit to learning it. Commit to learning it. And don't be scared to put yourselves in a position to just sit back for 30 minutes or so and do some research on an article or research on a topic and try to get the information that you need in order for you to continuously learn. If you do those 3 things, as I'm gonna tell you like this, you're gonna have a tremendous amount of success in your career. You're also gonna have a tremendous amount of success in your life, right? I think about my relationship with my wife and my kids, right? Committed to and go, a big family, a family that's well known and so forth. That's what I want my family to look like. I'm committed to making that happen. I'm committed to working as hard as possible to have my name on a city one day or a building, right? I'm committed to that. I'm committed to my strengths. I'm committed to constantly getting on here and searching new topics and speaking to my community, the Black Heights community, and to bring new things and new ways of thinking, right? That you can challenge or you can agree with. But it's committed to continuously learning, guys. And I want for you guys to think about that as you are in your weekend this week and you're thinking about steps next week and what you can do. And most importantly, I want to say this, because I've used this example in a coaching call last week. When you're committed to learning, it doesn't matter if it's 30 minutes a week, guys. It doesn't matter if it's 30 minutes a week. Just commit some amount of time. 30 minutes a week, it's still a good amount of time. I would say commit more, but if that's all you have, commit 30 minutes. You may say, hey, Antoine, that's not a lot. Because people say, okay, well, if I can't go to the gym 3 times out of the week or 4 times out of the week, I'm not going. You'll be surprised how much 30 minutes a week going to the gym will improve your life. I see it all the time as being a parent of 2 kids. I told a person the story of when my daughter was just learning how to run and have balance. We put her into soccer to get her feet work right? And cone drills. First time she had no idea how to go through cones and, kick a ball and all this other stuff. But as the weeks went on, and this is just an hour a week or 45 minutes a week, by week 6, week 7, she's, for the most part, mastered these cone drills. And that's the same exact thing. If you commit it to 30 minutes, an hour a week, you're still going to get results. It may not seem like it's going to be results, but it's going to be results. So just commit to it and get it done. All right, guys, let's move on to what I wanted to talk about next, which is 2 great jobs that I think you guys should be looking into in order for you to earn more money in the tech space. Earn more money into tech in general, okay? I want for you guys who are making a career transition, don't know where you want to go yet, or for you who are in high school or college, to think about if you're interested into technical careers and you like, being on a technical side or so forth, to do some research on the role of a data analyst and a cloud engineer. These are 2 roles that are in high need, in high demand, and you can make a shitload of money. Okay, let's talk about data analysts first. You probably want to know, what does a data analyst do? Well, if you think about it at its highest level, a data analyst basically collects and processes statistical analysis on large data sets. So they discover how data can be used to answer questions and to solve problems at its highest level. You have a whole bunch of data that's inside all sorts of companies, and they discover how this data could be used to answer questions. Let's give an example. I used the example last week of a patron or a gentleman that works in the school system, and he is an assistant dean. And in this high school, you have fights going on and so forth. Well, if you have a tracking mechanism that has the students' information, ethnicity, race, religion, all this other stuff, you can use statistical analysis to get a better understanding of the profile of people that are having these problems. That's what data analysts do. They discover how data can be used to answer questions and solve problems. Okay? And if you like to be somebody who's factual, somebody who likes to uncover trends, somebody who likes to give business insights, tell stories, you should look into a career of a data analyst. You should look into a career of a data analyst. And some of the qualifications that you will need to become a data analyst are things like programming languages, R, right? That's a language that you would need to learn, and you have to be pretty proficient in that language. Okay, you have to be a person who is creative and analytical in thinking, somebody who has strong and effective communication skills, somebody who can visualize data to tell a story and so forth, and their data warehousing skills and so forth, somebody who knows SQL, and somebody who I would say is advanced in Microsoft Excel. In my Patreon, my professional members have access to Google Data Analytics professional certifications. And one of the class, or one of the professional certificates, is that of data analyst. And within this certificate, you can learn all of this so that you can become a data analyst in the future. Okay? So that you can become a data analyst in the future. So consider becoming part of the Patreon if you want access to a community that will be there to support you in your transition into data analytics. Consider if you want coaching from a career coach who has 17 plus years of technology experience in a technology space that can help guide you and to encourage you and to motivate you to continue going. Consider if you want access to a network that can help you out throughout the challenges that you may face within your tech career. Join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. So that's of the career of a data analyst, guys. Well, I missed one thing, because here's the piece of it that many of you guys want to know. What's the outlook like for the data analyst role and that of the overall salaries? What's the outlook like for the role of a data analyst and that of what are their salaries? Well, I'm going to tell you like this. For marketing research analysts, which are data analysts but working in marketing research, the career outlook is this: 22% growth. Okay? They are in need because people need to understand what products and services can be made based on the data that they have. What is it that people want based on the data that they have? Okay? Those are data analysts. And let me tell you this.
One sec.
I'm talking about Series. She wants to talk to me right now. 1 second. Let me throw my iPad out of the way. I'm talking so much, and my iPad is picking up and wanting to answer questions for me. But the salaries for a data analyst range anywhere from $83,000 as a entry level, all the way up to, if you are a senior, 150 plus. And if you decide you want to grow within this space outside of data analytics and become that of a data scientist, you're making $200,000 plus. Think about our brother who comes on this channel and visits us frequently, Engineering Cannabis, AI and me, and so forth. You can make a fantastic career out of that of a data analyst. And if you want to pivot after you've done it for some time and climb the ladder to get to higher positions where you earn more money, that's a good place to start to have a very good technical foundation. So that is the role of a data analyst, guys. The next one I want to talk about is that of cloud computing, a cloud engineer. And you're like, okay, well, Antoine, what is cloud computing? Well, if you think about cloud computing is storage of, the databases, any sort of software, any sort of analytics that's accessible all over the internet. So if you store it and it's accessible all over the internet, it has to be in a place where you have access just about anywhere. And that is in the cloud. So market research has shown that cloud is expected to grow anywhere in the US from 175 billion to over 200 billion in the next, 2 to 3 years. It's a growing industry because most businesses still have to make that migration into the cloud. That's why it's so important. And you think about it, the advanced countries like, United States and some of the others that exist out there, they're making that transition now. But think about the countries that aren't there yet. There's going to be a boom, even bigger boom, in the cloud computing space. That's why companies like Amazon, Oracle, AWS, Microsoft are crushing it. And they're consistently growing year over year. And I want you guys to think about the career paths of that of a cloud engineer. And before I even get to the career paths, let me explain what a cloud engineer is. So a cloud engineer is somebody who's responsible for, think about this, all of the technical aspects of cloud computing. So if cloud computing exists in, data warehouse or whatever it is, with a whole bunch of storage and all this other stuff, a cloud engineer is responsible for all the technical aspects of making sure that works. So the planning, the designing, the maintenance, and the support of that. And a cloud computing engineer can take many different career paths. They can be a cloud developer. They can be a front-end, back-end developer. Many of you are interested into front-end and back-end development and web development and so forth. You can make the transition into cloud computing. You can be a software architect, a cloud architect, a data engineer. If you are a data engineer and you're like, okay, well, I want to make a transition, you can think about that of a cloud engineer. You can make those transitions. You can be in security. You can make a transition in the cloud as well too. That's the thing about these tech spaces, is that the career paths are never black and white. You can transition based on you learning new things, commitment to learning, continuously learning. You can get to a cloud engineer from, as I mentioned, a front-end, back-end developer, full stack developer, security engineer, data engineer, cloud architect, DevOps. All you need to do is learn the skills and commit to a platform, right? So what are the major roles in cloud? I would say that is of a solutions architect, and the solutions architect are responsible for analyzing the technical environment and requirements and its specifications for the companies that are making that transition into the cloud. So these guys are responsible for selecting the technologies that's going to be used to meet the needs of the overall business. So they estimate what the cost is going to be. They manage the usage, the operational costs of each one of the solutions that's in the cloud. They project manage and all of that. And these guys make a shitload of money. Okay? So solutions architect is a fantastic role to be in a cloud. And I'm going to give you some steps that you should consider if you are going down this path to become a cloud engineer. The first one would be to become very good in a cloud platform. So whether that is AWS, that's Microsoft Azure, that's Google Cloud, or some sort of Oracle platform, just gain proficiency in that platform. Okay? You have to commit to one of the platforms. Again, guys, it's about commitment. Okay? And you have to go through the foundations of that platform. And then once you understand the foundations, which gives you an understanding of the basics, you can move on to like the associate and the professional. And you can Google or research how these platforms will allow for you to gain your learning experience and so forth. I'll let you guys jump on the websites, whether it's AWS or Microsoft and so forth, to give you a better understanding of the steps that you need to take in order for you to advance from the foundation, which is the basics, to the associates, to the professional, and so forth. Okay? The next one you want to have experience in is have experience in at least one programming language, whether it's C, C++, Java, Python, or so forth. Just have experience in one of those programming languages, because whether you're going to be doing programming or not, you still have to have a good understanding of it, because a lot of the applications that are going to be used in the cloud are written in one of these programs. And apart from gaining knowledge into programs and the actual platform itself, you want to specialize, guys. You want to specialize in one of the concepts that exist out there for cloud, whether it's storage and networking or virtualization and operating systems, something that our Mr. Nick's is doing today in VMware and so forth. It could be in security and disaster recovery. It could be in web services and DevOps. But you need to specialize in one of those areas. Become the expert in it. Okay? If you do that, that's a good path for you to get into cloud computing and to become a cloud engineer. And if you become a cloud engineer in the United States, I'm going to tell you like this: the average salary for a role like that is $116,000 at a minimum. $116,000 at a minimum. You're probably like, God damn. I say the same thing. You become a cloud engineer, you're making a minimum of $116,000. It is a good career, high salaries, and a career that is in high demand right now. They are hiring people, and you can pretty much name your salary. That's one, even though we're going through this entire, rounds of layoffs and so forth, you can almost guarantee, if you have the skills and you are a cloud engineer, that you're going to have a job and you're going to have a good salary. So guys, just consider that. Consider that in your journey into tech. Cloud engineer, great role. Data analyst, data analytics, great role as well. So I wanted to make sure I hit on those. I wanted to make sure I hit on those because those are important. I mean, last week I did that of the project manager, right? I did that of a project manager and that of an account manager. Fantastic roles. Fantastic roles. My thought in including these segments into the show is to make sure I provide you guys the exposure and the knowledge of what exists out there. And that's why I've been including these segments into the early part of the show. What are some of the career paths that are out there? If you want to know a little bit more about project management and account management and so forth, go and watch last week's video. But now, this week, we're talking about cloud engineering and data analytics. Fantastic technical spaces that you should look into if you're looking to make a career transition into tech. Now, the difference between these two roles, cloud engineering and data analytics, I would say this: you can make the transition at any level. However, it's best to go when you're really junior and entry level because it's more on the technical side. Whereas on the product or project management and account management, if you're up there in age and already have a established career and making more money, you're going to make more money into these roles because they're more in the management level when you come in, and you can transition a little bit easier because they aren't as technical. They aren't as technical. These are technical roles. These are the non-technical roles. Okay? I just wanted to make sure that I provide you guys that information and so forth. Let's move on to the other topic that I had today that I wanted to share with you. And this is still around the cloud. I wanted to provide you guys some facts here. Some facts here on why cloud is a good place to go into, because there's a talent shortage going on right now. And the talent shortage is pushing AWS to go back to its roots as a developer-focused cloud provider. There's not enough people in the cloud space. Okay? A company called Stack Overflow, where they receive information on different technology roles and so forth, receives over 100 million visits per month and claims to have seen by 80% of developers every week. Additionally, the company surveys over 80,000 developers every year about the technologies they love and hate. And by running this survey for over 10 years, Stack Overflow has chronicled how developers' preferences for different cloud platforms have evolved over time, charting AWS went from a developer-loved vendor companies, okay, often used exclusively, to now battling competition from startups and big tech rivals. So the reason why so many people went to the AWS platform for you all who are looking to get into cloud is because it was loved by the developers. They had all the tools. They were a developer focused. If you are a developer, you liked the AWS platform because it was developer friendly. Now, as they continue to grow, the focus hasn't been just on the developer community. It hasn't been on other things. Therefore, they're losing part of their developer community because other cloud providers are focusing on the developer community. And if a developer is like, all right, these tools aren't as simple as they used to be, I'm going to go to another platform. And that's what's happening. But as you can see, the talent shortage is pushing AWS to go back to its roots as a developer-focused cloud provider. Okay, and the talent shortage is that there's not that many people who understands the cloud or can develop on it. According to the 2022 annual Stack survey, 85,000 AWS developers want to work with Google Cloud now, while only 7,600 Google Cloud developers want to work with AWS. This suggests that AWS developer stronghold is loosening, especially as the firm also faces competition from database startups like Snowflake and Databricks that are pricking up unsatisfied customers. While AWS tries to win back its core customer base, Google Cloud is going after big enterprise clients to break profitability. The competition is fierce, guys. And let me tell you like this, there's a section in this article that talks about how you can name your salary if you're in this space. Okay? Even though the downturn has given companies a little more leverage over workers compared to last year, retaining and attracting talent remains a pivotal problem for competing cloud titans. While cloud titans AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud dominate over 60% of the market share, their growth continues to be hindered by the lack of cloud experts. Become a cloud expert, guys. Get in the cloud space and you're going to be able to crush it. You're going to be able to crush it. Make a shitload of money. Minimum is $116,000. God damn! All right. Let's talk about the layoffs now, guys. Because companies, big tech companies, have been going through layoffs. And I wanted to share this one with you. A quick synopsis of what's going on over the last couple of weeks. Let's get to it.
What goes up must come down. Tech's supercharged trajectory of growth, record stock highs, and aggressive hiring during the pandemic now in a downturn. From plummeting tech stock valuations to an accelerating wave of layoffs and hiring freezes across the industry, the belt tightening in tech is sending ripples through the public markets, which are already grappling with recession fears and ongoing global supply chain issues. Here's a quick roundup of just some of the most high-profile tech names caught up in the turbulence over the past few months. Meta has plans to slow hiring of engineers this year by at least 30% as it weeds out poor performers across.
Poor performers. You guys getting ready to get weeded out across the board. Poor performers, you're going to be weeded out across the board. If you guys are getting those PIPs, those PIPs, professional improvement plans, you're on your way out of the door. If your projects have been cut and you're kind of left to supporting, one or two customers, you're probably on your way out of the door. If your performance reviews haven't been satisfactory over the last couple of years, more than likely, you're on your way out of the door, guys. Tech companies are tightening their belts and pushing out poor performance. Let's continue on.
Its teams. Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Snap also reportedly pausing or substantially slowing hiring and cutting back on spending.
Look at that, guys. Big time tech companies. And you know when big time tech companies do it, and this is information that's hitting the markets, you know what's coming for others. Microsoft just announced this week, which we'll get into, that they are ending contracts early. Their contracting roles are ending early. But if you see Google, Snapchat, Apple, Microsoft, all of these guys, their numbers went through the roof during the pandemic, during tech. They were paying some of the most, or some of the highest salaries that exist out there. You guys are seeing what you can make working for Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. There's a lot of money that can be made working for these companies. But you see they're tightening their belts and they're laying people off.
And Twitter laying off 30% of its talent acquisition team amid its own hiring freeze. In June, Elon Musk's super bad feeling about the economy led to hiring pauses and job losses at Tesla, with a little over 200 employees let go. PayPal cutting dozens of employees in an effort to reduce costs. Salesforce saying it will put recruitment on hold for certain roles, along with Spotify, who says that it's reducing hiring by 25%. 450 staffers were let go at Netflix across May and June, the company citing slower revenue growth. And just last week, Shopify laid off thousands of employees, about 10% of its staff. Investors across industries are watching all of this tech paying very closely, with many characterizing tech's performance as the canary in the coal mine for prolonged broader market mayhem, leading some to wonder if the Great Resignation is giving way to the Great Recession.
You've heard it. You've heard it, guys. You've heard it. Tech companies are going through it at this point in time, and you're going through it at this point in time as well. Many of you are going through it. And I say this, I've given advice on how to become a better performer. I've given many people advice on how to gain promotions and so forth. If you need a coaching session on how you can transition into a career or out of a career, book a coaching session at www.blkheights.com. This is just the start of it, guys. This is just the start of it. Every single week, there's people announcing what they're doing. I was just on a coaching call last week with a member of ours, and he works for a big company, Microsoft. And we already know that they paused recruiting. Well, now, Microsoft is cutting hundreds of contractor roles amid layoffs and hiring freezes. Hundreds. And this was an article that was dropped on the 10th, 3 days ago. Hundreds of contractor roles are gone. Microsoft is laying off hundreds of contracted recruiters and talent acquisition staff as hiring freezes continue across the company, according to 3 people familiar with the situation. So Microsoft, what they're doing at this point is this. They haven't gotten to a lot of their full-time employees at all yet. They are a company that is pretty sound on their cash flow, balance sheet, and so forth. And they don't do it like a lot of these unicorn companies do, where they just go insane with hiring a whole bunch of full-time employees and so forth. What they do is they bring on contractors to do a lot of the work. And when you're a contractor, you're an at-will employee, just like even if you're a full-time worker, but they don't pay you all the extras, you know, the incentive plans and, you know, healthcare and all this other stuff. So you're going to be the first to go as a contractor if companies are going through a downturn, and that's what's happening here at Microsoft. They're retaining the majority of their full-time employees, but they're saying all of the folks, the vendors who are contracted with us, well, not all, but many of you who aren't generating revenue, you got to go. Your contractors are done. The contracts are done. Figure it out. And I can't pay you a severance package because you're not a full-time employee, but you can get a severance package from the people who helped with the contract. And they notified their workers earlier this week in their agencies that their contracts were in as early as on Friday. So yesterday was the last day for many of the folks who were contracting in the recruiting space for Microsoft. Yesterday was their last day. And guys, this isn't the only one that's out there that's doing this. Microsoft is doing it. You heard PayPal, Salesforce, LinkedIn now. Let's talk about LinkedIn because Microsoft owns LinkedIn. LinkedIn is laying off its global events marketing team, which has been eliminated as part of restructuring. And I would tell you like this, guys, the majority of these roles that are being eliminated are non-revenue generating. That's why you guys have seen many, or the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about sales, right? I've been talking a lot about sales because, again, I'm in coaching calls. I want to talk to people, and many people want to be an entrepreneur one day, right? And they want to make as much money as possible to retire with a good amount of money and so forth. And I think about the career paths that I've had that's made me the most money. And I can tell you this, number one has been sales. And that's the role that I'm in today. And I'm on my entrepreneur journey, and I'm able to, you know, make a lot of money into sales and invest in areas that allows me to grow my business. Okay? My businesses. And many of you want that as well. Or many of you just want to start your entrepreneurship journey. In a way that you can do that is by gaining sound foundational skills. And that of sales will allow for you to do such a thing. It'll give you a strong foundation. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to know how to sell. You have to know how to sell your vision. I have a big project going on, a personal project right now, and I have to bring somebody on board to do something for the company that I'm working for, or working with, or that I run. And I have to sell them a vision. And sales is important. So if you're looking to break into tech sales, look in the description of this video, check out Course Careers, a partner of ours, that will help you break into tech sales at its entry level, sales development rep. And many of you have taken this course already and are having success. Brother Akire, who's in the house. Brother Manny, who just completed his course and waiting his certification or his grades to see if he passed the final exam. Many of you are taking this course and learning a lot about sales. And I advise for many of you to take the course if you ever want to get into sales, or if you don't, the reason being because it gives you a good foundation of what those entry-level roles are. And if you ever want to get into sales, it will teach you the language that you should use to talk to other individuals who are in the sales, who can help you get into sales and so forth. It teaches you the basics. Just consider Course Careers. Link in the description of this video. On top of that, getting back to my point, is many of these roles are non-revenue generating roles that are being eliminated across the board. Could be talent and development. If a company is putting recruiting on hold, why do they need people in HR? They don't. If a company is cutting back, why do they need people in marketing and events? They don't. So the careers that I'm putting forth to you aren't always revenue generating, but they are imperative and critical for a lot of business success. And when I talk about sales, it's critical for business success. It helps with the overall bottom line. It helps with the reporting back to Wall Street in order for it to save people's jobs. It's a foundation for every company. Sales is, that is. This is the reason why I push sales so much on this channel. Not because I'm in it, it's because it's critical for all business. So consider it. And think about when you are getting into tech, what roles that you should get into to protect yourself whenever there's an economic downturn like we're experiencing now. Do you want to be in the marketing events? Do you want to be in HR and talent recruiting? Fantastic. If you are a great employee and do well, they're going to keep you on. But if you're doing this role and think that, you aren't going to be impacted when things happen, you got it twisted. When things happen, you're going to be one of the first to go. And I want you guys to think about that when you're thinking about your career in general. HR, parts of operations, customer success. They aren't revenue generating. And if you aren't helping a company retain revenue or bringing in more, you may be on the chopping block. And if you are in sales and you aren't performing, you're going to be in the chopping block too. I just wanted to say that as well. All right. Let's get over to PayPal. I wanted to talk about interview questions now. The most common interview questions, because many of you guys are going through the interview process right now. Many of you are going through the interview process right now. Or many of you are thinking about going that direction. And I just thought this article was a good way for me to provide some insights into, the most common interview questions that a company like PayPal asks and how to use the STAR method to answer the questions. Okay, one of the most well-known online payment platforms, PayPal, has become a desirable place to work for both technical and non-technical talent. The company not only has an above-average Glassdoor rating, which is important, guys, for you when you are doing research on a company, check Glassdoor to see if the company has a good rating or not. Many of you ask the questions, Antoine, what company should I be looking for to get into tech sales? What company should I be looking for to do this role? What company should I be looking for? Well, you need to do the research, number one, but you need to look at companies that have a good Glassdoor rating for a good place to work. But ultimately, you want the company to align with whatever your values are. Think about that yourself first. If you care about trust, respect, transparency, and so forth, you want to make sure that your values align with what the company's values are. And the only way you're able to do that is by doing the research. But after you've done your research, make sure you check that company to see if they have a good Glassdoor rating. Okay? Make sure you check that company to see if they have a good Glassdoor rating. The company not only has an above average Glassdoor rating, but was acknowledged by the job review site as one of the best places to work in 2021. So whatever you are hopping to land an interview at PayPal or already have one on the calendar, it's a good idea to know what to expect. And guys, I'm gonna tell you like this, companies follow the same sort of recruitment and ask the same sort of questions. So this doesn't just apply to you wanting to work at a company like PayPal, but also to other companies as well. PayPal interviews process can seem daunting, especially if it's your first time interviewing with them. However, with the proper preparation and knowledge, you'll be able to ace the interview and get your dream job. Research PayPal's history. That's the first thing you should do for any company. Research the company's history. This is what our brother Brian did in order for him to gain that second interview or land that second interview for the SDR role that he's applied to. Research the company's history. Okay? Here's a breakdown of the company's interview process, and many people or many companies' process is very similar. Step 1, apply or be recruited. You have to apply to the site directly. Or if a recruiter reaches out to you on your LinkedIn, that's how the process is initiated. Now, if you don't have a LinkedIn, if it's up to date, how is a recruiter going to reach out to you? That's why I constantly talk about having your LinkedIn up to date. Many of you guys who are wanting to make the transition and don't have your LinkedIn update, you're behind. You are behind. Get your LinkedIn updated. You want people knocking on your door. When you don't have a LinkedIn and you don't have it updated, it's almost as if like your house is not on the block. If you have a block with a whole bunch of houses on it, house here, house here, house here, but this is your house and you don't have your LinkedIn, it's like the shit's gone. It's a gap. So make sure you have your LinkedIn updated, guys. Screening call. If the candidate makes it past the first step, they will get a screening call with a PayPal's HR team. This call has two purposes: to make sure that both parties are interested in moving forward and to confirm basic information about the candidate. Okay? So the first step is to apply or be recruited. The second step is a screening call. Typically, this is the first step in the interview process to make sure that you are a good fit and they know more about you and you're interested. They're probably going to tell you a little bit more about the company, the role, and so forth, maybe even salary. The third step is a phone interview. This is where you would talk to your hiring manager about the specifics of the role, get more technical questions, and learn about what life at PayPal is like. You'll be asked more job and experience specific questions to determine whether or not you are worthy of an on-site interview. 4, on-site interviews. Once you pass the phone screen, you'll be invited for an on-site interview. They want to see you in person. They want to see how you conduct yourself, how professional you are. While historically the final step of the process was an in-person interview, PayPal is now conducting these final interviews remotely. This includes 5 rounds of interviews that incorporate both behavioral and technical questions, which we outline below. It's a long interview process to work for a company. And that's where my brother Darcelis was telling me yesterday, he has his third and fourth one set up. He's like, damn, Antoine, man, these companies are taking you through the wringer to get on board. Yeah, they are. They want to make sure that you're a good fit. And that's what companies are doing these days. So they're saying use the STAR method to answer questions. Behavioral questions are designed to gauge how you handle problems in the past, so your interview can get a feel for how you will handle similar situations in the future. Your past behaviors almost predict your future behaviors. That's why a lot of people in personal life, they say, oh, well, you know, you can't just ban somebody doing something because of what they did in the past. Well, yes, they can, especially if they have consistent behavioral issues in the past. To effectively answer these questions, we suggest following the STAR method, which helps interviewees answer questions to their best ability. We break down what STAR means for you here. The situation is what the S stands for. The task is what the T stands for. The A is what your action is. The result is what result did you get. The STAR method is known. Look it up. I don't need to get into all the specifics of it on this video today, but it's a well-known interview technique that you should use to just about every one of your interviews. I would say almost 98% of your interviews, you want to use this method. Okay? And here are the 4 common interview questions and how you might answer them. Tell me about yourself. This is a common question at most interviews, so you should already have an answer up your sleeve. Be prepared. So this is often the first question you'll be asked. It's crucial to spend some time on it to really nail it. Many of the candidates make the mistake of talking through their entire life story and sharing a bunch of information that your interview doesn't give a damn about. Okay? You want to specifically relate it to the actual job and how you will be able to help the company, not what your dog did yesterday, and not what your interests are and the things that you've done in your previous career or what you have an interest in and you doing real estate and all this other shit. Nobody cares about that. Talk about yourself and how you're going to be able to contribute to the role that you are applying for. This especially is true with more experienced hires who like to turn back the clock to their first couple of jobs out of school. Your answer to this question should not be longer than 2 minutes. If you can get the point across in less time, even better. The key here is to highlight your most impressive experience and end with why you're looking for a new opportunity, or more specifically, why you're considering PayPal. Okay? And it gives you an example in this article, so check it out. Tell me about a time you've made a mistake at work and how you corrected it. While we will always put your best foot forward, your potential employer always wants to understand where you struggled in the past. Be transparent, guys. Struggling is a part of the process. Making mistakes is a part of the process. But how do you tell a story of what you've learned from those mistakes that you've made? It's a behavioral question, and you should be able to demonstrate that and talk about how you've handled that mistake and what you've learned from it. Number 3, what do you understand by website payment standards? This is more of a technical question, so you have to understand what the company does and do your research. Number 4, tell me about a time you had to take initiative on a project. When were you proactive? When did you take accountability and responsibility and proven ownership and shown ownership? It's another behavioral question, guys. And if you go through this article, you'll be able to see exactly some of the canned answers that they give you. You can adjust them to your needs and so forth. But I thought I wanted to share that with you guys because it's important. As you're going through your interview process, you want to make sure you're using the STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. The situation that you were in, the task that you had, the action that you took, then what did it accomplish? The results, guys. Results are important. Results are important. All right, let's jump over to the last one. We're going to talk about Miss Serena. Miss Serena. Miss Serena says she is leaving. Why do I got this? Oh, there we go. It's like I had this document thing on my screen. I was like, what was that going on? But anyway, Serena Williams is leaving tennis to become a full-time venture capitalist, and here's why. Serena Williams announced on Tuesday that she is stepping back from tennis to focus on her family and career in venture capital. Williams shared the news in a candid essay she wrote for Vogue. Williams might be best known for a highest earning female tennis player in history. However, the 23 Grand Slam champion has been moonlighting a career as a venture capitalist for the past several years. And she launched her venture firm, Serena Ventures, back in 2014. And through Serena Ventures, Williams and her partner, Allison Rappaport Stillman, angel invested in over 60 companies, according to a press release from the firm. The firm's investments have spanned across sectors ranging from financial tech, companies like Propel, Contractor, ad tech unicorns like Masterclass, and consumer product startups like Billy, Daily, Harvest. So Serena's getting to the bag, y'all. She's made all this money. She's like, you know what? I want to get even more rich. I want to help people out. I want to get into this tech space. I have a passion for the Web3 technologies. I have a passion for crypto. I have a passion for fitness and health. And in 2014, as you can see, she already started that investment firm as a venture capitalist, and she's invested in a number of companies already in her portfolio. Some winners, some losers. I think this is a great play in the tech world. This is a fantastic play in the tech world. Let's hear a little bit more about Serena and her investments.
Serena, you have been investing in early stage companies for 9 years now, but this new fund takes it to the next level. You say you want to invest in the next generation of champions. Who and where do you think those champions are?
We don't check just one box. We really are looking forward to health and wellness, femtech as well as fintech. Obviously, the crypto space and the Web3 space and NFTs are something that is on everyone's mind. And I don't think you can really have a VC firm and not have some really big part of that big part of your fund into that part of the Web3 space. So we're kind of like looking in those particular areas.
So you think about it. Web3, fintech, she's thinking about the future. She was an early investor into the crypto space and fintech. Her husband, the gentleman who is one of the founders of Reddit, Alex, I forgot his last name, and her were early investors into the crypto space. And she's made a lot of money in that space. And she says, okay, well, I want to continue to develop that and invest in companies who are in that space because I believe in it. And she's also saying as well that she wants to bring more diversity into venture capitalists and tech and different companies that she invests in, which is great. Leading by example, not telling people what they should do, but creating a fund and doing it and showing the way, using her brand to accomplish results. I love this about Serena because she's not getting on every single platform and saying, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. No, she's saying, I'm doing it. And this is what I'm going to do. And this is the type of people that I'm going to invest in. And this is the type of companies I'm going to invest in. And this is what I have a passion for. It's great. I love it. Let's continue on.
Now, you've been the greatest of all time in tennis for so long, but in venture capital, you've kind of been in stealth mode or under the radar. And a lot of celebrities and athletes don't necessarily get taken seriously here unless they're investing directly in their craft. Is there something motivating or energizing about trying to prove yourself at something new?
Yes, and honestly, that's one of the reasons I have been investing so long and I have been in stealth mode for so long, because I feel like, whether it's an entertainer or it's an athlete, when we try to do something different, it's seen as more of an opportunity as instead of a passion. This is actually a passion of mine. I wake up every morning thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to open my computer and look at decks or just talk to the company or just see what we're going to do today. And it's something that I'm super passionate about. And I just genuinely have so much fun with it. But yeah, that's also another reason why I was operating in stealth. I really wanted to build my portfolio. I wanted to build my track record. So when people had questions, I would say, we can just go to our track record or go to our data room and kind of see what we've done in the past. And it gives you a glimpse of when we do have bigger fund and being able to write those big checks, what we'll actually do in the future.
Look at that, guys. Listen to what she just said. Okay? She has a passion for what she's doing. She's committed to it. She wakes up every single day, turns her computer, and is excited excited about looking at investor decks, looking at what the companies are doing. And that's passion. That's a commitment, something that we talked about earlier. That is a commitment. And when you are committed to something and you are laser focused on it, you develop a passion for it. And ultimately, you have a passion for it, more than likely you're going to have success because you're going to outwork everybody that you know. But also listen to what she said. She also said this. She operated in stealth mode until she had results, so that now people are not just going to question who she is and say, you know what? She's just another opportunist. No, she's been doing this for 7 damn years at a minimum. And she has a profile, or not just a profile, but a portfolio of companies that she's invested with in the past, that she can say, here's our results. I'm not just a person that's a typical athlete. I have a passion for this. I've been doing this for 7+ years, and here are my results. So she's letting her results speak for herself. Not her mouth, not her brand, not her tennis playing. Results are important, guys. That's how you sell yourself as well. Talk about your results. Something that we talk about on this channel all the time. Something that you saw in the STAR method. What was the results? Situation, task, action, result. The situation, she wanted to make more money. Her task, she wanted to start a fund. Her action, she started a damn fund. The result, she invested for 7+ years in different companies and got this result. Now she doesn't really have to sell herself. She can just tell her story. Serena Williams, let's continue on.
Now, Allison, there's a lot of money flowing into the venture capital ecosystem, a lot of competitors out there, and VCs often claim they have a unique network. Your network with Serena's would seem to be unparalleled. How does that come to life on behalf of your startups? Are there any examples you can share?
Yeah, one of the great things we're able to do is leverage the network that Serena's built for the 20+ years in her career for behind the scenes connections. Obviously, Serena has lots of followers, and being on Instagram or something like that is great. But when we can connect someone to the head of ESG at Nike, or we can kind of connect someone to someone at Amazon or Procter & Gamble, those are people that she's been partnered with for a really long time, but are either business development opportunities, potential acquirers, or a lot of them are investing themselves in startups in the space. So we've been doing a lot of work with that.
You said yourself.
I'll pause it there, and I'm going to keep it there. Guys, when I said something about the commitment earlier in this show, I talked about committing to your strengths. Committing to your strengths is what Serena is leveraging in this venture capital fund. You think about it. A lot of times, in order for you to grow your business, it's just knowing people inside a business. If you want to make sales, you just have to know people really, really well. If Serena has been working with Nike and so forth, and her personal career, her personal brand is as big as it is, getting access to people is relatively easy for her. So she has a fund, and she's investing into, who's in the chat right here? Jeff Yu. Jeff Yu has a university, whatever it is. Let's just hypothetically say Jeff University. She invests in Jeff University. Jeff University has a product or a service that Nike could use. Jeff's the CEO. Serena can introduce Jeff to the CEO of Nike. Makes it that much easier, just because she's worked with them for so long. That's the commitment to making the most out of your strengths. How you leverage people, tap into people. How she can help all the companies in her portfolio reach different business leaders, because she's been working with them for 20+ years in her tennis career, in the health and wealth space, and all other spaces that she has been in, as well as makeup, beauty, other companies that she's invested in. They all need products and services that have problems. She's able to make that introduction. I love what she is doing, guys. I love what she is doing. Fantastic congratulations to Miss Serena for being the greatest in tennis, but also going to be a big name into the venture capitalist space where there needs to be a lot more diversity. Great round of applause for Serena Williams. Guys, that's all I have for the show today. I'm going to do something. I want to get to the super chats. Looks like you guys are having some fun in the comment section today. Let's get to the super chats. We got our brother Jake Jr. says, thank you for the stream, brother. Thank you so much, Jake Jr., for the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate you, sir. We got Dr. Dix, who's in the house. Dr. Dix, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. He says, never get complacent in anything. Automation and AI will eliminate numerous jobs. Stay up to date on everything. I appreciate the $10 super chat, my man. Thank you so much. We got brother Tangaway Gin and Tonic in the house with the $10 super chat. Always coming through, making it happen. I appreciate you, Tangaway. Without commitment, nothing happens. Thank you for the reminder, BH. Love it. Thank you so much. IT Wizards in the house. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Dropping them nuggets, man. Thank you so much. I felt this one today. I wanted to make sure that I brought something to the show today that was going to be very helpful across the board. Okay? And I appreciate you for acknowledging that this was helpful, IT Wizard. Thank you so much also for the $9.99 super chat. Really appreciate that, sir. Our brother Aston's in the house, who always comes on to support. I appreciate you, brother. Aston, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Dropping the super chat with the others to show support for Mr. BH. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, Aston, for all the support that you continuously give us. Damien from the country, our big brother Damien, killing it at Dell, making it happen in sales operation and crushing it. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat, brother. Thank you so much for being a leader that you are and a father that you are and a great friend that you are too, brother Damien. I appreciate you, sir. Who else is in the house? Jeff Hughes in the house. Thank you so much for the $15 super chat. I always appreciate the gems regarding IT and how we can get in. Enrolling school soon to start my software engineering pathway. I also started using Coursera IT info to study, brush up on the lingo. I love it, Jeff. Thank you so much for the $15 super chat, brother. Thank you so much. Again, appreciate you, sir. Brother Akire for the $9.99 super chat. Brother Akire is on his way into sales himself, tech sales. He's already into sales, and he's going to be crushing it. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat, brother Akire. Thank you for creating the Black Hats community, the great info you provide, and all that you do. Thank you so much, brother Akire. Thank you so much. Guys, I know there's other questions in here, but I wanted to make sure I get to the super chats, and I let my wife get an opportunity to go to the gym before I go to the gym today. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and you know how we do it. And until next time, y'all, peace. Let's get to the folks who are in the chat. Guys, I appreciate you, Miss Wade. Thank you so much for joining us today and always being a supporter for your husband. I love you. I love you. I love you. Brother Bernie Bazil's in the house. Blockabelli's in the house. Jeff Yu, Gnarly God is in the house. Jordan R is in the house. Just popping in to say hello, Antoine. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Just getting started my work week on the end. Jordan is crushing it. Jordan is absolutely crushing it. Videos to views, I appreciate you for coming through. Even the sports stars are looking at ways to increase and preserve their wealth. Hell yeah, they have to. Damien says, I had to knock down 4 interviews for my current role and it was internal. God damn, Damien. God damn. 4 interviews, boy. Brother Billy Rose said he had 4 interviews in his current pursuit. God damn. Boy, I'm telling you, man, they giving you the interview hell these days. That's what they are doing, but we appreciate you for coming through, Brother Billy Bro, and always showing your support and love, my man. Another good brother of mine, and he's on his transition as well, too. That boy Cloudy says, I tell people to get on LinkedIn so that you can have direct access to recruiters. Much better than just applying like the 100 other people. You're absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely. PBO is in the house, my big brother. I just had 5-star interview, 5 for 5 hours. God, nice. They putting you through the ringer too, PBO, man. I'm telling you. Jake G is in the house. Thank you so much. Akahito 007. Always realizes how all these big tech companies went from full-on Biden and centric Trump and his supporters. So many socialists running through these companies using the government to control regular people. We ain't gonna get into politics, my brother, but I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying. D Queen is in the house. She says they have an automatic 15% corporate tax. That's the reason to lay off before people can add it together. Hey, man, them corporate taxes are hitting them. D Queen, deep fake AI is taking over YouTube. Damn. Kenneth Barney's in the house. My good brother Kenneth Barney's in the house working for Microsoft. Man, I love Kenneth, man. Kenneth is so dope. Great morning, folks. Appreciate the show. Keep sharing the good news for people looking to be top performers. Kenneth is a damn top performer. I'll tell you like this, man. He is a top performer. Billy Rose says, I started with the VBA coding and moved to SQL. Once you understand a language, you understand the logic and can move into other languages. Hell yeah. Imperial Tech says, hi from Perth, Australia. Thank you so much for coming through, Imperial Tech. We appreciate you, man. Rick Hud says, I'm studying currently to become an AWS architect. Is there any hope for me safety-wise? Hell yeah. I just talked about it, Rich. If you didn't take anything from this show, you heading in the right direction, my man. Jack Severe says, thank you for these tips. Data and cloud are a huge area. Hell yeah. Dirty now, and everyone is telling me to get my first A+. I can't go making the $17 in this climate. I hear you, man. I hear it. If you want to get into tech, I'm going to tell you like this. Hit Master IT. He's in the description of this video. He is a fantastic teacher and instructor and have very good content. Check him out. Dr. Dick's in the house. Allison B's in the house. Aston's in the house. RPA's in the house. Marquise came through. No Limit came through, man. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, guys. Much love. Thank you so much for all your support. As always, enjoy the rest of